Who that family? Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and who that too. WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers.
You're now listening to Tough Tiger Talk with Big Q and the guys on the Pro Media Network.
You're now rocking with Tough Tiger Talk. It's going down, man. It's Saturday edition Tough Tiger Talk. We're in the building. I'm Big Q chiming in on this episode of Tough Tiger Talk entitled LSU Getting Back on Top, baby. Hard work in the offseason, making it count, recruiting, reformation of staff, offense, defense, and otherwise. We not playing no games here in Death Valley, man. We about some serious business here, and they need to start respecting our minds. A lot of stuff going on was coming at LSU in the Tiger Nation. But listen, man, we tough as hell, man. Hence the term, hence the title of this one, Tough Tiger Talk, man, because that's what we about. I'm Big Q chiming in. I got my co-host in the building. GM Kev, Uncle Mozzy is out of town, so big ups to Uncle Mozzy. GM Kev, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, what's up? Let's roll.
Kev in the building as well. He ready to hit it. And listen, fam, I'd like to thank y'all for joining us on this installment of Tough Tiger Talk, where we keep it real deal, Holyfield on everything LSU football. Please feel free to subscribe to our platform. Please hit the like button and share by all means. Please feel free to share the show with other Tough Tiger Talk faithful as we attempt to build this platform into one of the biggest talking about LSU football, baby. So with that being said, man, we're going to get right into one of the key topics tonight. We have several news notes and items we'll cover with the family members tonight. And Kev, we'll start it off by, if I can get my screen right here, we'll start it off by going over the disrespect LSU is getting, man. And to be honest with you, we have to be able to keep on piling up the good and positive energy we're getting, because a lot of stuff is coming at us. As we got this one from Death Valley Voice entitled Coach O, Ed Orgeron Disrespect Tour Continues. We'll go over this one first by Zach Reagan. As LSU football head coach Ed Orgeron led the Tigers to one of the most magical seasons in sports history. A little under 2 years ago in 2019, LSU dominated their competition while going 15-0 and winning the national championship. The 2019 season should have cemented Orgeron's status as one of the top coaches in the game. Instead, the disrespect for Coach O has seemingly increased over the last several months, no doubt about it. And no matter who was sitting on top of LSU, whether it was Coach O or anybody else, they would still be hating on LSU. That's just what they do. Sports News recently ranked all of the 130 FBS head coaches. And guess what? They didn't show much respect for Coach O. Sports News has Coach O as number 14 on their list, below such names as Cincinnati's Luck Fecal, or whatever his damn name is, Penn State's James Franklin, And of course, Sports News had this to say about our guy, Coach O. He said he's the toughest coach on the list to rank. The Tigers are just 1 year removed from a national championship run, but a 5-5 season and off the field scandals have made it tough to keep Coach O in the top 10. He was ranked number 15 heading into 2019 season. This feels like the right spot after a 2-year reset. So heading into the season, when we won a national championship, they had him ranked as 15th, and now they had him as 14th. So, I mean, who the hell are these people? They don't see LSU coming, to be honest with you. But let's keep going. According to sporting news, winning a national championship only bumps you up one spot on their list. That doesn't make a bit of sense, especially when Franklin is at number 11 on their list after a 4-5 season in 2020. That's why I keep saying, man, they don't know what they're talking about. There are only 5 active college football coaches who have a national championship to their credit. Great point. Orgeron is one of those coaches, along with Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, Jimbo Fisher, and Mac Brown. That alone should put Coach O in the top 10. But I put Coach O in the top 5. If that were my list, probably around number 3 or 4. Saban, Swinney are clearly number 1 and 2. But beyond that, it's wide open. I think Coach O's success at LSU, combined with his incredible recruiting, should have warranted his inclusion in the top 3 or 4 of this list. An argument can be made by Lincoln Riley to be right there with Coach O. So it shouldn't be a surprise, as it's the continued disrespect for Coach O from the national media. Coach O wasn't the national media's choice to replace Les Miles. And at LSU, maybe that's why he continues to be treated like he's not an elite coach. And this was a great point by Zach Reagan, dropping some science here on this article, when he just lays it out and tells you only 5 active coaches won a national championship, but yet you got guys that hadn't won a national championship sitting up ahead of Coach O. Let's see what your thoughts on here. This comment right here. From these idiots over at Sporting News talking about Coach O, GM Kev.
Yeah, I think they wrote this, like you said, because of the off the field stuff. I don't understand how a guy just won the championship 2 years ago. Yeah, you know what he lost. He was 5-5 the next year. And why is all this disrespect coming at him? Because a lot of the stories as of right now are alleged. Okay. So I think people need to chill and let that take its course. Since he's been at LSU, he has a winning record. He's brought them a national championship. He has great recruits. So I don't see what's to hate about. But somebody definitely is out to get him, and I want to know who's allegedly paying these people to do that.
Yeah, it's really foolish to even much cover to talk about Coach O. And it's like, you won a national championship just 2 years ago. You got guys that's not even close to that, ranked ahead of them. It's a foolish list of mine, and not grounded in reality, not based in reality.
But is it for clicks and views?
Well, it has to be, because there's a little PC shit involved in it. Well, you know, instead of even much doing the research, and they read and believing what people say as opposed to doing the research to find out what actually is going on. We need to be more like that. But I mean, that didn't really affect me much, because we've always been someone that the national press have really kind of pushed down on LSU when we destroyed all the beautiful teams that they love, whether it was Clemson of Alabama. That pissed them off even more. So we have the same issues with the Saints as well, as we step on most of their people like we stepped on Tampa Bay last year in the regular season. They didn't like that at all. So when we smack their darlings down, they get pissed. They don't give you credit. They just get pissed. So that's why we get pissed and come after their asses. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. LSU's new transfers ranked, the 247 Sports, where they're ranked. We'll go over this one here and break down some of these transfers. The 247 Sports released its final transfer rankings ahead of the 2021 season on Wednesday. Outside of Tennessee, no one was as much as a player in the top 50 than LSU. No one. So Clemson transfer Mike Jones Jr. Who? Mike Jones. Who? Mike. He moved up a spot from number 2 to the top linebacker position. And the number 5 player overall, he's expected to make a bigger impact in Baton Rouge for defensive coordinator Durante Jones' troop. Now, the former 4-star recruit from 2018 class redshirted as a true freshman, then saw snaps as a backup in 2019 when Clemson finished runner-up to LSU for the College Football Playoff National Championship. Now, as a sophomore in 2020, Jones played in 9 games where he combined for 26 tackles, 4 for a loss, picked off 2 passes, and even had a sack. However, the NCAA ruled that the 2020 season did not count towards a player eligibility, so Jones headed to LSU with 3 years of eligibility in his pocket. That was good news for Coach O. So with that being said, while Coach O shored up that position, Eric Gilbert ensured the void left when he opted out A little past the midway point, 2020 campaign would remain where he signed with Georgia, the highest ranked tight end in the 247 Sports composite history, headed back to his home state after flirting with the option of returning to LSU, and is ranked third overall. Just outside the top 10, you see Ika at number 12, the big defensive tackle signed with former LSU defensive coordinator David Aranda and will now play for him at Baylor. No surprise there. Mm-hmm. And then in other news, Major Burns headed back to Baton Rouge to continue his career with the Tigers and is ranked 117th overall. Four former Tigers who chose to transfer following the 2020 season also landed in the 247 Sports Top 150. Who were they? LSU starting left tackle Dare Rosenthal is projected to man that position for Kentucky. That's the 38th highest ranked transfer, while Cavondre Bradford landed number 39 overall and will play for Oklahoma. And, of course, former LSU quarterback and current Auburn signal caller, Mr. T.J. Finley from Ponchatoula, checked in at number 61 overall with those other Tigers. Mo Hampton nabbed the 92 overall spot, but the former LSU safety remains uncommitted. And, of course, you got Ray Thornton, who was ranked as 124th overall, spent his 6th year as at the Power 5 school as he returned to his home state to play for the Longhorns. So with that being said, a lot there to unpack. Kev, feel free to jump in where you see fit with the position. Mike Jones, Eric Gilbert. What do you think about some of these names?
Yeah, I like Mike Jones. Mike Jones got a good I think he's on a path to maybe starting. But what trips me out is the transfer to Kentucky. Like, I don't understand. Like, if you feel like, okay, I'm gonna upgrade and go to, even Alabama or Clemson, I could be like, okay, he's trying to ride the wave. You go to Kentucky, I mean, this ain't basketball, man. Like, dude, what are you trying to accomplish? Okay, you still in the SEC, but you're still at a winning program, so it's not an upgrade. It's more like, I don't even call it a side grade. It's kind of more of a downgrade. I mean, so what was up with that? I think it's more to the story with that transfer than what they telling. But and TJ Finley, I just think we've seen him do some good plays at times, but he struggled in the spring game, and I hate to lose him because I did see potential there. But guys want to play, Q. So you know how it is now. If I can't play here, I'm gonna try to go to your rival. I don't think he's gonna start there this year. I think they still got Bo Nix, right?
Yeah, you was you was on you was upset by Finley moving on.
Yeah, man.
But he's seen
compete. I want you guys to compete. This is what it was for. Coach O and the staff laid it out this year coming into it. We're not giving anybody positions. You're gonna have to work for your spot. That's cool, that's fair. So we're not showing any favoritism, correct?
Well, I mean, that's how I felt about it. But Finley seemed like he was the odd man out. It was coming but down to Max, and that's the thing with him. And I really wasn't happy to see him leave, but I can most certainly understand why he left to go. I really wasn't happy to see him climb his ass over there with the Auburn Tigers by all cases. I mean, maybe a little revenge there, perhaps. But I mean. Absolutely. So, I mean, that at the end of the day, man, it is what it is. We'll just have to make do what we got with either Max or with Miles Brennan. So, I mean, that's a big part of it, man. We just have to make do with those guys. And it was coming down, and he's seen the writing on the wall. He's not a fool.
Yeah, so, he's seen he heard all of the chatter, and but it was so crazy. There's still people that's writing these articles that cover LSU sports still hoping for Miles Brennan to be the guy. I don't understand it. I think I've seen enough of Miles Brennan, but maybe I'm wrong. Can you tell me if I'm wrong? Is it something I'm missing?
No, you ain't missing a damn thing. They are. They need to cut it out. Miles Brennan had an opportunity to do what he needed to do last year. He was and the thing about Miles, and I won't be fair from him, I like Miles Brennan. He's a talented quarterback, but he lacks the it factor. The it factor is that attitude that quarterbacks have, like Joey Burrow had, or some of our previous quarterbacks that led LSU to the promised land had, a cockiness, but not an over cockiness, but a confidence, better yet, a uber high level of confidence to guide the team ahead, and a leadership ability, which I see with if you look at Max with Miles Brennan, he simply doesn't possess. It's not his character. He's more meek and quiet, and his character is basically relegated to that of a backup quarterback. I don't see starter level of potential in a guy like Miles Brennan. Now, he does have the arm, he does have some of the attributes, but he's boring as hell back there. He's half dead, and the offense is half dead when he's in there. But when you see Max Johnson, Super Max Johnson, get in there and do some stuff, he electrified the offense. He was running around there making plays, throwing the ball down the field. That's what we're looking for when you look for a quarterback to come in and play for LSU. You need a guy with moxie. That's the old word, a little guy with super confidence, somebody that can take possession of the team and say, listen, we're going to win this game. We're going to do it. Not somebody that's sitting in the back pew of the church being quiet, with
the old school fans,
right?
Fanning,
Right. He just standing there. His next position in life is to take on the librarian, because he's the head librarian. We don't need the librarian and Miles Brennan. We need somebody with some moxie that can take this offense. And when he held the offense, it was just half dead, man. And I was like, I don't like this. So they're missing it. So I don't know what the hell they're looking at, but they need to cut it out, because the quarterback that's guiding this team is Max Johnson. He's the favorite going in, according to the baseball on the street. The word on the street is Max Johnson has the lead over Miles Brennan, and rightfully so. But also Garrett Nussmeier has an opportunity to kind of see what he can do too. So you might see, even though it's between Miles Brennan and Johnson, Nussmeier is the future of the position. We'll see how it all shakes. But Damien, big ups to the family members being here. Damien says, Q, I'm still curious about who will be the starting quarterback. Seem like they'll be leaning towards Max. What you think? And Kev and you on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Darren, it's got to be Max Johnson, man. You put the footage on this. It's Max Johnson, unless Miles Brennan can come in with that same moxie, which he doesn't. He doesn't have the it factor.
You don't have it in, like, some guys don't have that in them. And a lot of the game is emotions is part of the game.
Yes, sir.
So there comes a certain time you can have all the attributes you need as a quarterback, but there's times in the game that the quarterback has to step up and show leadership. And he doesn't have that. And when you don't have it, it reflects the whole team. But there's people that's on his side. Well, he's a nice guy. He's a fifth-year senior. He deserves the opportunity, Q.
Yeah, he don't deserve shit. He get an opportunity to compete for it. I mean, that's just about it. But if you can't compete, I mean, listen, fam, we put the tape on. We seen it. Y'all tell me. We got the Tough Tiger Talk Nation out there. Family members listening live, and the ones on the playback when the show goes on the rerun. I want you guys to fill it in the comment section, or the chat, or the comment section. You guys seen what the Max Johnson looked like last year, and then you see what Miles Brennan looked like. Miles Brennan was absolutely dead out there, and it was boring watching that style of play. You was watching the family members sitting up in Death Valley. The few that they allowed to have in there was looking for something to happen, and it just didn't happen, man. It didn't happen for us, So he don't have that factor. He's a freaking backup quarterback. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now I like Brennan, man. His character, he's a backup quarterback. He doesn't have that jump off the page confidence that you would look for to champion that position. Damon says, I've never been a Brennan fan. Me personally, I think his ass was overrated coming out of high school. He does have what's up, Tim? Tim calls him a robot. He is. It's very boring watching that guy. I'm sorry. For the guys that like him, he's a boring ass quarterback. And when you put Max Johnson in there, Max is moving around. Of course, he has the QB pedigree with his dad. He was scrambling around, making plays, throwing the ball deep. He was moving the offense in a way that was galvanizing, that was fun, as opposed to Brennan in there. It's just not the same. That's why I said you got to look at Max. And at this point, Kev, it's more like he's there, because of the fact that he's been here so long. He was waiting for his opportunity to shine. But he had that last year and didn't take advantage of it. Maybe he'll get an opportunity to show that he does have some moxie this upcoming season. But it's Max Johnson's job to lose, based on what I know and what I'm researching and my personal feeling. Kev, you co-sign on that?
Yeah, I definitely co-sign on that. I mean, there's a lot of old school writers believing that wait your turn. That guy's been here. He deserves the opportunity. But if you're out there competing and they're trying to find the best guy to win, does Mal give you that? I don't think he gives you that. I'm sorry, but I think we here at the Tough Tiger podcast going to have to disagree with some of those guys that's rooting for Miles Brennan.
You damn sure we got to disagree with him. I mean, I ain't gonna ride behind that, man. That's some bullshit out there they talking about. I watched that guy play, man. That guy sucked up there, man. I'm sorry. I'm just got to keep it real with the Tough Tiger family members. I'm sorry. I got to keep it real. But anyway, let's move on to the next one here. Next topic of discussion: top remaining in state prospects LSU football hopes to land in 2022 class. Kevin, we talked about this list. A lot of really good players on this list. And hopefully we get all of these guys, at least at least half these guys. Let's get into this article right here. A pair of defensive end skill position players among the top remaining talent in Louisiana with the Tigers class just over half full. The Tigers class. So this is from Brian Smith over at the Fan Nation LSU Country side of things. Much love to him. He does a lot of great work over there, by the way. As LSU class of 22 continues to move forward, more and more local prospects are becoming a focus for the Tigers. Here's a look at 5 prospects from the Bayou State that LSU coaching staff would like to sign. Now, the Tigers have 14, that's right, 14 verbal commitments for the class of 2022 as a head coach. Orgeron and his staff zero in on the last primary targets. Many of the best actually hail from right in the state of Louisiana. Now, amongst the in-state prospects, the Tigers continue to recruit. Here's a list of 5 Louisiana prep players to keep an eye out, as LSU would really like to sign each prospect. And we, of course, at the top of it, you got Quincy Wiggins, big defensive end, 6'6", 265-pounder from Baton Rouge, more particularly Madison Prep Academy. A newcomer to high school football scene, this local prospect is one of the most imposing players in the country. He still looks very lean. Wiggins played basketball growing up, and he could still be a prime Division I basketball recruit if he wanted. It now appears that football will be Wiggins' long-term future. However, with a tremendous wingspan and the quickness that usually resides within the 220-pound player, Wiggins just began to learn how to play with some technique. He's still adapting to a very technical sport. However, that's why this young man's upside is quite high. He projects as a strong side defensive end, but he's likely to add more weight, thus he could play defensive tackle during his previous pass situation to take advantage of his quickness against the interior offensive lineman. Now, next up on the list, Mr. Shaz Preston, who I like out of St. James High School, wide receiver, 6 feet tall, 185-pounder. He's the opposite of Wiggins. He's from a football family. His brother plays football for Mississippi State. The ranging wide receiver has the ability to play inside or outside. He also has he's a top-notch athlete that could return punts and kicks if you wanted to. Very versatile. Blessed with natural quickness, Preston also provides better than expected technique for high school football prospect and the ability to set up defensive backs with moves during his route. Very smooth and fluid guy. I ain't gonna call him Erky Jerky, but he knows what he's doing. Let me just put you that real professional with his game. That's what very fluid is what I would call it, as well as position his body to shield off defenders, proven to be evident from his junior film. He's really good at that. Contested catches. Landon James will be a feather in LSU's cap as he's the remaining in-state wide receiver that LSU went after the onset of the recruiting process. And you know how we get some of the best wide receivers in the country, man, to come here, and especially in-state. Shaz Preston would be a big get for LSU. Next on the list, Mr. Kendrick Law, the cornerback, 5'11", 185-pounder from Shreveport, particularly Captain Shreve, he's a complete skill position player, as one you will find in Louisiana. Law might be fought over by different college coaches to play under their direct supervision. Law could be a cornerback, nickelback, safety, running back, or wide receiver, just an athlete. Most project him to play in a secondary, such as an SI All-American publisher John Garcia wrote an article on him. Law earned the number 2 overall nickel ranking, and this just happens to be a very good year for cornerbacks. Regardless of Law position, he provides a type of size, speed, and quickness that make an impact at the next level. Now, Jamon Tapp, defensive end, 6'3", 240-pounder from Donaldsonville, playing in southern Louisiana along the Mississippi River. Tapp also let me put it to you like this. Tapp probably does not receive the recognition that he deserves among the Louisiana people. Donaldsonville simply does not possess the population that will provide a bigger school and more fanfare as some other high schools, despite the fact Tapp became a national recruit for a reason. A player that really began to fill out the course of last year. Tap is still lean and athletic. His frame could add another 20 pounds without much of any harm. With plus athleticism overall, this is the type of prospect LSU really needs to keep home. Tap upside is much like Wiggins, through the roof, an extreme mobile and nimble defensive end, a bull in a china shop while playing high school football, very violent. Once he reaches the college and better understands hand placement and how and when to mix it up with his pass rushing moves, look out. And of course, finally on the list is Trevante Citizen, the running back, 5'11", 200-pound space eater or space type back from Lake Charles. Yet another prospect that does not receive a lot of attention that he should. Citizen probably needs to be described as a combination running back. He's adept at hitting the hole, running hard through the second and third levels of the defense, provides natural between the tackles vision. He can elude the first tackler for more than not. And I'll watch tape on this kid. He is a very good running back, man. Got speed. He knows when to lower his shoulder, can catch the ball out the backfield, and he could block too. Considering LSU's offensive philosophy, Citizen could be a great addition to the Tigers. He already plays instinctively when carrying a football. He also is the type of athlete that will be a serious threat to make plays after catching a screen or a running route. So in some ways, Citizens is quite a bit like Law. The quickness, vision, natural football IQ are quite similar. Come to think of it, Citizens' physical skills would allow him to be a really good college safety, but he will most likely be playing running back, and that's just fine with LSU. Citizens is the type of football player that LSU needs on its roster and its offensive backfield. So with that being said, Kev, you got a bunch of them. Trevante Citizen, the running back, Jamon Tampa, the defensive end, Kendrick Law, the cornerback out of Shreveport, Mr. Shaz Preston out of St. James High, the wide receiver, and of course Quincy Wiggins, the big, massive defensive lineman. So what do you thought process on some of these guys?
Well, I'm going to talk about the geographics because like the prep schools in Baton Rouge, I've been following them for years, and they recruit some of the best players in and out of state. I didn't know that. I learned that as a kid. Like, I didn't know you can do that. Is that legal? Because when we grew up playing, it was like the guys in your neighborhood that was on your team. And I didn't know that, guys recruited in high school. I was like, what? They do that? Like, yeah. So I learned that very early. So I'm very well of knowing how they recruit talent down there. And that's what we need to do. We need to win the in-school state battles because, we can't get all of them. But if we can get a good majority, I think we should be okay. It's hard to get everybody, but we should at least get 60%. Yeah, Shreveport. Shreveport is another one that I said we should get more of because Texas was beating us on that. Everybody was in Shreveport was going to Texas. So I'm like, well, last time I checked, yeah, it's on the borderline, but Shreveport is still Louisiana.
This is right.
So we need those recruits. So hopefully we can grab them for the 2023 class and keep building. That's why this year is going to be so important, trying to get a lot of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we covered this last year. We talked about Coach O's 2022 class coming up as one of the tops in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they might be talking smack about them right now, but I tell you, sooner or later, they have to respect our minds here because Coach O is, if anything, he's a master recruiter. He continues to recruit some of the best people in the country. Some of these guys, well, I don't expect us to get all of these guys.
Yeah, it's hard.
Right. But if you can get half of them and bring them down here and bring them in a state, that'll be a tremendous day. But it also helps this year because a lot of them are going to be watching what LSU do in this upcoming year and whether or not we can get back on the right track. Because a lot of people saying LSU had a fluke last year when we won a couple of years ago when we had the national championship, and the 5-5 is really who LSU Tigers is. Boy, I just really hate the fact that we did that because them bastards can use that and say, well, that was just an aberration and just steal all of the thunder and the magic of what we did that year when we steamrolled everybody in the country. But anyway, let's get to the next article. Reinstated Los Angeles County mask mandate could affect the start of LSU football season. This for the family members that might not know that, this could be a mandate. The mask mandate could come back for the upcoming matchup in our first week out in California. Tiger fans traveling to Pasadena in September for the start of the football season will need to pack a mask. After an increase in cases, the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health has decided to reinstate its mask mandate regardless of vax status. Anyone indoors with the county has to wear a mask. This new mandate will go into effect just before midnight on Saturday. The decision comes just 1 month after California dropped statewide mask mandate and UCLA announced 100% capacity for all sporting events in the fall. Since there is no time limit set, fans going to see the Tigers play the Bruins in the Rose Bowl on September the 4th might have to mask up. The Golden Band from Tigerland has already said it will not be in attendance. Okay, so there you go. Our band won't be there. But the reinstatement of the mask will more than likely be in effect. Kev, any thoughts on this one?
It must be really bad because the Rose Bowl is an outside venue and it's open.
Yeah.
So if they're requiring even to wear it outside, it must be really bad. So, man, I hate that. I thought we was past it, but I guess not. In some ways, we just got to be, safe, and hopefully everybody comes back healthy and we get a win. It's still heavy out there in California. It's a big state.
Yeah, and we getting more updates from some of the organizations that's saying that it's variations of what's going on. So we'll cover a lot of that on Q Big Q as we move forward. But anyway, let's keep on going. And of course, Kev, we're gonna get to the final story here, which is LSU health students recognized for helping a young woman on a flight. So I mean, you want to kind of break this down for the family members before I play the report?
It's a beautiful thing, man. Like, we don't really see this much in the news, but you have the academic students, LSU med students on a plane going to Greece. A passenger gets sick. Think to me how the story was, he was close to dying, and they stepped in and helped and saved his life. And they're not officially medical students yet, but their expertise, it helped save this guy's life. So LSU is doing more than just athletics. This is academics. They put in hard work just as well, and they should get a knowledge. And the mayor gave them a citizenship of appreciation. So it's definitely known. It's definitely a great story. I'm glad it's out there, and kudos to those two ladies for stepping up and saving somebody's life.
All right, well, let's play the report here, and you guys let me know if you can hear this. We'll put one in the chat if you can hear this. Here we go.
While on board a flight to Greece, some LSU students answered the call of, "Is there a doctor on board?" On Friday, the pair of students were honored for taking quick action when a passenger fell ill, and their effort was captured in a social media post that has since gone viral. Jade Cunningham explains.
Lauren Bagneris and Heather Duplessis celebrated the end of their first year at LSU Health with a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Greece.
Greece has kind of been like a bucket list thing. I was really just excited to spend some time to relax with my sister and with Heather, of course.
And boy, it was a trip to remember.
I can't say it was even an adrenaline rush. I think we were both pretty level-headed and calm in the situation.
While flying to New York, a passenger overheated and fell. The crew called for help, but when no one answered, Heather and Lauren stepped up.
You go into fight or flight at that moment, and you're automatically jumping into action. We knew that we were called to do this. We assessed the situation to make sure that we did have the scope of knowledge that we needed to handle the situation. And once we realized we did, I think that we helped make each other feel comfortable in order to help that passenger.
This photo was taken as the two worked to help the woman. It's been seen more than 6 million times.
I want to thank you for stepping up and doing what you did.
And it captured the attention of school, city, and state officials who all recognized the women Friday.
On behalf of the city of New Orleans, let me tell you something. You've made us so proud. You are truly an inspiration.
Extremely grateful for that honor, Lauren and Heather say they just did what they were called to do.
I learned that you can't take your education for granted, no matter what you're doing.
It also just gave me an appreciation for those late nights and early mornings that I experienced throughout the year. And just knowing that, it is all for a reason.
All right. And that's a real positive story, to say the least, there, Kev, that the young ladies really did something positive, man. And I don't know if the family members knew about that, but that's a good positive story, to say the least.
Absolutely. I was hoping, man, how can I get me an LSU medical sweater like that? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, I don't see them. I don't think, well, you know what? I don't think I would never look for them. We always go in, like, if you're going to shop at the sports stuff, you get the jerseys, the hats, or whatever you like, and it's football, sports related. I don't remember seeing anything medical. I mean, am I wrong? Did you see anything medical on their sites? You go.
No, I think that's something that they
give them.
Yeah, I think that's something that they can only give them like that. So
they need to put that on the site, though. Put that, because let a lot of people get behind them, rally behind them, and show their support, because that's really big, man. You're saving somebody's life. And, they didn't really, well, I guess when you're a doctor or about to be a doctor, like instincts kick in because something could have went terribly wrong. And we know how people flip the scripts on that. But they stepped in and did something great like that, man. And we don't really see those articles, with much light. So I'm happy for it, man. I'm happy that it's somebody from our region that done it.
Yep, big ups to them young ladies, man, and saving lives. And, of course, they're part of the LSU Tiger Nation, man. That's even more positive. So
absolutely.
That'll do it for the show, family. I'd like to thank y'all for joining us for this episode of Tough Tiger Talk. Please feel free to hit the like button. Please feel free to subscribe to Tough Tiger Talk right now. Hit the subscribe button. Feel free to take the links and share them in your social media feed or share them with other LSU football family members who enjoy the Tigers as much as we do. So with that being said, I'm going to chime out. I'd like to thank my co-host Kev for stopping by and dropping some knowledge. Kev, much love to you, brother. Appreciate you.
Always, man.
And big ups to the rest of you guys for being here as well and showing love as well. Damon and the rest of the family, Ken Rosser, Tim, Adrian, Rudy, and the rest. Thank you guys as well for being here and showing some support as well. And with that being said, we will return next Saturday for more Tough Tiger Talk. Uncle Mozzy will return with more of his controversial commentary, and we'll be back here as well to cover all things LSU football. So much love to you guys, and go Tigers.
Peace.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.